to 175 inmates across the country. The gesture, according to the presidency, is aimed at decongesting correctional facilities and promoting restorative justice. Governor of Kaduna State, Senator Uba Sani, disclosed this while briefing State House correspondents at the end of the council meeting. He explained that the gesture reflects the administration's commitment to tempering justice with mercy while ensuring that deserving inmates are given a second chance to reintegrate into society. Senator Sani explained that the council considered a report from the Advisory Committee on Prerogative of Mercy presented by the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, which recommended various clemency measures. Let's get some perspective on this. I'm joined now in the studio by legal practitioner Jide Ologun. Thank you very much for being here. 175 people. I mean, going back as 1913. First off, what do you make of the decision at this time to grant clemency?
It's an awesome one, and let me say that by virtue of Section 153 of the Nigerian Constitution 1999 as amended, we have the Council of State occupying advisory capacity and consent to some appointments, and they have, aligned with the President on this prerogative. And talking about Herbert Macaulay, he was convicted as far back as 1913 by the colonial masters, and he was even barred from public office, and I think he died in 1946. So right now,
I mean, not to drag the issue, but Macaulay had one incident in 1913, and there were controversy around whether he should have been prosecuted in the first place, and then you had the former FCT minister who, again, there were controversy over his execution. Shouldn't it be an investigation instead of a clemency if they actually, at the end of the day, perhaps didn't commit these crimes?
For the colonial masters, who could have questioned them, talking about Herbert Macaulay, and then Vatsa was executed during the regime of IBB for getting involved in planning a coup, which was classified as treason, even though they were friends as children in the country. So it could have been.
But granting it posthumously, though, I know that of this number, some persons' death sentences were commuted to life imprisonment. Others had their sentences reduced. Some got freedom, even though those names were not revealed. But the posthumous granting of pardon, what are your thoughts on that? And add to that, why didn't they release all the names? Is there a reason?
The government should have done that wisely, but I trust journalists that the list will still be released, and the prominent names are the ones that have been rolled out. And talking about the posthumous clemency, it's not new. Recently, the president rolled the same out to Ken Saro-Wiwa and some of the Ogoni martyrs. But what the Ogoni people came up with was that some of them said you shouldn't have given Ken Saro-Wiwa clemency, but exoneration. But when Ken Saro-Wiwa was executed, by hanging with some others, it was during the regime of Abacha, who subjected them to military tribunal. So there wasn't fair hearing, and then the international community also complained, and Nigeria suffered about 3 years suspension from the Commonwealth of Nations. But now, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu is saying that clemency has been granted, and one would have expected that going forward, we should pay more attention to sustaining the fundamental human rights and not making some of these decisions appear political, because in the case of Ken Saro-Wiwa, he was, an activist.
To interject there, there's this very pertinent question my producer put here. Just out of curiosity, there's some level of concern as to why everyone is enjoying same level of mercy. For Ken Saro-Wiwa and the Ogoni group, the call had been for exoneration, just like the case of Macaulay and Vasta. not pardon Farouk Lawan and the recent subsidy mess? Did the president act right for everyone?
You see, like I explained, when you talk of exoneration, this happened under a military regime, and the military ruled by decree. So whether it was done in line with the rule of law or not, there wasn't an opportunity to even embark on appeal. And the president, I assume, should have the prerogative to exonerate. But don't forget that some of the key players in these past activities are still alive. For instance, the claim of IBB that MKO actually won the 1993 election. So what Asiwaju Bola Tinubu is trying to do is to bring respite to the hurt that some have been feeling. But in the case of the Ogoni community, I also expressed my concern from the public relations angle, because the Ogoni people perceive it as a trap or a move to resume oil exploration in that region, when the environmental degradation and other advocacy points in that region have not been addressed.
Yeah,
so that is a crucial point for the government to note. Still on the table is the call for justice. And what is that justice? The deserved development for an environment that accommodates a very crucial mineral resource for Nigeria. And I think we need to move beyond all this clemency and see how, going forward, there can be commonwealth for common good of the citizens.
Real justice can be seen to have been done.
Absolutely.
But just to talk of oil, I saw this in passing on social media, and I thought I would just ask you that it looks like when there are certain major issues coming up, there is something comes from the government that seems like a bit of a distraction from other issues. We know that, I mean, at the moment, gas prices are up. The oil situation is neither here nor there at the moment. And these people are now focused on the clemency, 1913, and then